Much like you, when I was a kid, I used to actually get scared watching horror films. But the older you get and the more desensitized you get, the rarer that experience becomes. In a way, I feel like we're kind of junkies. We're constantly looking through every new release, every movie we can find for that hidden gem. We're always trying to capture that feeling we had as kids again, when we felt genuine terror, fear, we got upset. Because the older you get and the more real life you experience, the harder it is to find that. But every once in a very rare while, you can stumble into it. And I was watching this film and it was stirring up emotions, and I felt the exact same way I felt when I was a kid. Movie's called Incident in a Ghostland. If you're not sold already, it's directed by Pascal Laugier, the director of Martyrs. Do what you will with that information. But on this channel before, I have talked about fear and what it means for a movie to be scary. I don't personally find things very scary anymore. Obviously, I'm an adult man, but I feel like I know it is. I feel like if you ask for a recommendation, people who aren't so desensitized, you don't watch every movie around, maybe something that would scare you, give you a couple nightmares. But just so you guys know, the first night I watched this film, I had trouble sleeping, and that hardly happens if ever. And I don't think it's because I found this movie so scary or I was afraid I was going to have nightmares. Almost in a way, it feels like this movie gave me system shock, like fight or flight syndrome. I had an adrenaline rush, and at like 2 in the morning after watching this, I could not sleep. And this movie just like consumed me for like a week. I was obsessed with this movie. I kept researching it. I looked up the director and I looked up the motivation for this film. I was like captivated with this movie and how this got created. It was a weird experience. So enough about me. I wanted to tell you guys about the movie. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to describe the movie. I'm going to be very vague about it. Maybe at a later date, I'll do a review of this film, a spoiler review or something if you want it, but here's Incident in a Ghostland. So when the movie starts off, we're driving with this family of 3, Beth, Vera, and her mother. And in this opening scene, you find out some key information about these characters. Vera is like your everyday girl. She's joking. She picks on her sister, Beth. You find out Beth wants to be a horror author. She is obsessed with H.P. Lovecraft. But at the same time, Vera picks on her because she doesn't understand how such a scaredy cat can want to do this as a profession. This is a young teenage girl who writes about the most morbid things that could possibly happen, but she is scared of her shadow, it seems. And then you have the mother of this family who's listening to Beth tell her story as they drive, and she's loving and supportive and motivating her to follow her dreams and telling her not to worry about her sister. And after this opening scene, they arrive at this antiquated house in the countryside, and there's a bunch of these old, scary, decrepit dolls. And not too long after that, in the middle of the night, these 2 show up in an ice cream truck and invite themselves inside. They are in for a night of SA, gruesome violence, assault. They fight back. This is a very uncomfortable movie to watch. This is about the part of the review I'm going to warn you if you are somebody who is very sensitive to these topics: SA, assault, abuse, PTSD, trauma. If you're into those types of subjects that make you very uncomfortable, you can't sit with them, maybe don't watch this film. It's very uncomfortable to watch. It's not for the faint of heart. But shortly after the opening and the family has survived, we follow Beth as her career has transpired as an author. She's doing fantastic. She has bestseller books. She's on talk shows. She's like the talk of the town, modern day Stephen King. She is wildly successful. Unfortunately for her, her sister Vera is not the same way. She is struggling deeply back home with PTSD, trauma of this night. It has never fully left her. So because of this, she has to go back to the house where it all transpired. And upon arriving to this house, something is immediately wrong. Things are off. There's like this supernatural presence to it. And I'm not going to say a whole lot about where the movie goes, but it starts to get incredibly weird, very uncomfortable. This movie explores themes, as I said, the average person probably doesn't want to be succumbed to. I really do believe this movie has one of the best ways of immersing the audience into the characters of the film. It's one of the best explorations of grief and trauma and tragedy. Any of these topics that we have talked about before in horror films, I don't think I have ever become as connected to the characters in a movie as I was in this movie. The acting in this movie, top to bottom, is phenomenal. All of the characters in this movie have to do everything. They are scared, terrified, grief-ridden, anxious. It makes you feel like these people are really undergoing tragedy. Insufferable at points. This movie is like smothering with how dark and grimy it makes you feel at points. The way this movie is directed, the lighting of the movie, this haunted house, how it's all very tightly wound. Very scary film, I think, traditionally. There are some very effective jump scares, very effective use of shadows, some incredibly disturbing imagery. There's basically everything here imaginable for a horror fan if you are just here for a haunted house film. As somebody who has watched way too many films, I feel like sometimes we root for the killers. We just want unpredictable kills. We don't like the characters. It's very surface level. This is not one of these films. This is one of these films you will be incredibly anchored to the characters. You will be rooting for them to overcome what they're struggling with. And you will feel like you are in the house with them and you will feel the suffering they feel. It is that immersive. Now, there are a lot of movies that try to do what this movie does. It's a very mind-bending, surreal experience where you're not entirely sure what's real at every point in the film, which can frustrate people sometimes, myself included. You don't really know what's going on. You don't know who you should root for. I think this movie does it perfectly to the point where it adds so much suspense, so much tension to this film. And it makes all of the effective scares infinitely better because you're not exactly sure what you're watching. You're not ever sure where the movie's going to go. And you're never sure if these characters, again, that they make you buy into, you're never sure if they're safe because of the way this movie is structured. And the real reason I'm talking about this film today is, as I said in the opener, it scared the shit out of me. Not in the traditional sense where I'm going to go around and see shadows and have nightmares, but if this movie is what I think it is and the way it transpires and the backbone of the film and the themes and the purpose of it, it very well could be the scariest thing my brain as a human being could fathom ever occurring. To me, it is my new fear. It is the scariest singular thing I have ever seen depicted. And I've thought about it before in the way other movies have done it, but never in the context of this film. The way it does it, it like changed my worldview towards this approach in horror. Or maybe fear is the wrong word. Maybe it's being upset. Maybe this film is the most upsetting film. You know, like French films can kind of be known for that, and he is a French director. It's psychologically upsetting. I think what I really enjoyed about this film is it does not hold the viewer's hand. You get details through exposition, but that's all you get. It never does that thing where horror movies do where at the end it wraps up through exposition. You get a 20-minute explanation of what it's about. Doesn't tell you the themes of the film. Doesn't tell you what to feel. It gives you the details. You can piece it together, feel about it how you will, go about your day. Whatever experience you have with this is what you had. It doesn't tell you what to do or believe or anything. And upon watching this film, I checked out the reviews, read the comments online, and I really do believe reading them that this movie went wildly over most people's heads. Maybe that's why I find it effective. Maybe I'm just being pretentious, and I've never said this before, but I kind of feel like this movie requires a certain level of intelligence to grasp and both enjoy or understand or appreciate what the film's trying to say. This is not the type of movie you watch as background noise. It's not the type of movie you watch with company over. It's not the type of movie you watch when you have your cell phone out in between every scene. This is the type of film that you sit down, turn the lights out, you get immersed to these characters, you get immersed to this world. You really sit and think about what this story is trying to say, and that's how it's effective. If you don't watch the movie like this, it's probably going to do nothing for you. But at the same time, that's a very tough ask because the movie is so deliberately unenjoyable to watch a lot of the time. You almost have to succumb yourself to the film, and it's kind of a hard spot mentally to get to for a lot of people, so I understand it. But I was reading so many comments online saying this is just a generic slasher film, and it's brutal, and it's torture, and I just could not disagree more. I truly don't know what movie they were watching. I think this movie is disturbing physically, but I think this movie is way more disturbing psychologically than it is physically, and that's saying something. I'd say it's upsetting that it took so long for me to watch this film because I'm a sicko and I seek out experiences like this, but this is not the type of movie I'm probably going to rewatch a lot, and that's probably because it's so effective. But this is a film incident in a Ghostland. If you have scrolled past it before, you have never heard of it before, you're in the mood for a movie where you can just immerse for the night and probably feel sick after you watch it, I could not recommend this film more. But just genuinely the most terrifying, like fear-inducing or psychologically disturbing film I have watched in quite a while. So obviously I had to put you guys onto it. If you guys have seen this film or heard of it, comment down below, let me know what you think. Or comment down below what you think the last movie was that really got under your skin and kind of upset you. Like, comment, subscribe, join me down below. I will see you in the next review. Peace.